Hi, this is Ron from RJN Music. We're here with Maddie Schieferstein, John Petrucci's tech from Dream Theater, and he's going to give us a little rig tour of John's rig for this current tour.
Cool, how's it going, Ron?
Doing great.
Good. Thanks for coming out.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, here we have the identical touring rigs for John for the Along for the Ride tour, that's what we're calling it this time. And we decided to do something a little different. John's been known for very large amounts of gear for touring, and we decided, you know what, let's try and get as compact as possible. And so that led us back to the Mesa Triaxis preamps and 290 power amps. And the great thing about that is they're all MIDI switchable. And of course, the brains behind the MIDI is the Mastermind GT22, which we have two of. One out on the pedal board for John out there, and then I have one back here that I can just keep an eye on things and make sure everything's working right. Okay. So, to quick signal flow rundown, the guitar comes into this AB box switcher, so I can have two guitars plugged in at the same time, and then I just switch between them, A and B. Also has a mute switch to kill everything. And then the output of the AB box actually is where the split happens between the magnetic and piezo pickups on the guitar. So I just run a stereo or TRS cable, and then the AB box does the split to get into the rig. So the magnetic side, well, let's do the piezo side first because it's pretty down and dirty and simple. The piezo side goes to a Fishman Aura pedal for a little bit of acoustic imaging, and then to a radial J48, I think, the blue DI box, active DI box, and out to the PA. Very simple, very cool and unique feature of the guitar. So then the magnetic side, that's where the fun happens. So we come into the rig. I have a little splitter in the back that sends one side of the signal into the rig. The other side drives the pedal board tuner, which is out there so he can tune in between songs. And then the first thing we come into is actually the Dunlop Crybaby system. We use the rack mount system, so we don't have any audio running out and back to the pedal board, because all my looms are 50 feet, so that's a whole lot of cable to get through. We have a remote control pedal out on the pedal board. I can hook up another 5 remote pedals if we really wanted to. We don't. He has his one place to go, and that's it. And then, so then after the Crybaby, we come into the pedal drawer, and the brains of the pedal drawer, again, is a Meg MIDI FX Gizmo by RJN. So we come into the Meg, 5 loops, I have 6 pedals. Well, the overdrive slot changes a lot. John likes to go through overdrive pedals and try different things, and let's try a flux drive or a grid slammer or a tone burst tonight, or let's try a tube screamer, or let's try that little red pedal that, somebody sent me. And so what I do is I have 2 overdrive pedals, and they're just daisy chains. So I have one, if he wants to try the other, I just shut one off, turn the other on. They're both in the same loop. And we have an MXR EVH Phase 90, which he prefers over the regular orange Phase 90. We have the John Petrucci TC Electronic Dreamscape pedal. We're actually using this one for a flanger sound in the front end. Then we also got hip to the old Dimension C pedal, which is a really cool modulation effect. It's got its own unique thing. And then, of course, the last thing, and this is only used on clean sounds, is the Analog Man Juicer compressor. So whenever he hits a clean patch, the compressor kicks on in the loop, and sounds great. So then, after we leave the pedal drawer, we go into the top Triaxis preamp. Now, the bottom Triaxis preamp is just a backup. It tracks MIDI and presets and everything, just like the top one. So all I have to do if there's a problem, I unplug 2 cables, an input and an output, and just go into the other preamp, and it's all there, ready to go, same sounds, same everything. Out of the Triaxis preamp, we go into the Fractal Audio AXFX, and this does all of the delays, choruses, harmonizers, and ends up being a big splitter to split into stereo. So any of the delays that you hear John use, harmonies, we've got a D2, we've got a bunch of different modulation effects programmed in that he can call up. And very cool unit. Sounds great. It's awesome. And from the outputs then of the Fractal, outputs 1 left and right feed the top 290 power amp. That power amp then is connected to 2 1x12 rectifier cabinets that sit off stage that are mic'd up for the PA and monitors. The 112s just have an incredible amount of punch to them, and you don't get any of the phasing issues you do with a 412. And they get pretty loud and they sound amazing. And then the second 290 is connected to outputs 2 of the Fractal, left and right, and it's just a clone of output 1. And this power amp feeds the 2 little mini recto cabinets that are out by the pedal board that John uses for a footrest, feedback, gets a little bit of thump out of them. They're not too terribly loud on stage, but it's enough to just make the guitar interact with itself. And that's it. The other units in the rack, we've got a MIDI Solutions T8, which is just a big split box for all the MIDI stuff. So instead of daisy chaining the MIDI, it's all kind of got its own outputs, each device. And then, of course, a Furman power conditioner, and that's it. So that's the rig in a nutshell. And
Cool.
yeah.